Welcome to OState Daily. Casey Porter here. So glad that you decided to tune in. Fans today, very, very, very special guest. John Holcomb joins the show for the first time on OState Daily. John, what an honor it is to bring you in.
Well, thanks. That's high praise. I hope this interview lives up to that. You aren't saying something different.
Is this the smallest camera you've ever done an interview in front of?
Well, if you don't count smartphones anymore, then yes. Yes, it is.
Take us back to your OU days. What do you remember about that, your basketball career?
Well, it was brief. It was prior to the three-point line, so that should age me a little bit. And that was a shame because that's about the only thing that I did pretty well was be able to shoot from distance. But I had a great experience and still in touch with some of my teammates. And actually, we won the Sooner Athletic Conference my freshman year. And to be able to clinch it on our rival's home floor, which was then Bethany Nazarene, now Southern Nazarene, that was a pretty special moment because I really didn't play that year. It ended up being a redshirt year, but they still lifted me up to cut a piece of the net, and somewhere I still have it.
So how'd you get involved in the sports world, specifically Oklahoma State University?
So I have always been interested in sports, and that interest, my dad was a huge sports fan and coached teams growing up, and I always thought, well, I want to be involved in it some way, shape, or form, and that was something that I kind of honed in school. And at OBU, when I stopped playing, I ended up calling games on KGFF radio, which was my first job, really, out of college. And then from there, it led to getting into TV at some point, and from TV, it was getting out of the news side of things and getting into sports. And so there were stops in Lawton, first sports job, then Amarillo, and then Tulsa. And I kind of always had my eye on OSU, and then, the tragedy of the plane crash, everybody lost a good friend in Bill Teagan one way or another, but he was a mentor of sorts to me, and in the wake of all of that, being able to get involved in it, it's just been a real thrill and something I didn't know that I'd be able to be a part of.
Yeah, so let's talk about Oklahoma State right now, the kind of the climate and atmosphere of college athletics. Where do you think a place like OSU stands right now?
I think they're in a unique position right now. I think the stability is getting into place in a pretty good way. Obviously, you have to win games to maintain fan support and interest. There's always been the loyal and true part, and the added part of that has to be the financial side of things. I think that's going to be the most important thing moving forward, outside of winning in your main sports, is the financial support. Is it still going to be there? But a lot of schools are facing that. I think in terms of where they are conference-wise, I think they're in a good spot. The thing that would concern me is if you get to a Super League,
thank you for that introduction right there. We appreciate you all.
That's where it gets a little interesting. That's why winning at the highest level has to be there. Now, do I think there's going to be a Super League in about 3 or 4 years? I think that's a little too soon, but I do think that it could be coming at some point.
So Oklahoma State football this year, what are you most excited about?
Offensive explosiveness. I think there's that, and I really think that,
with that, I'll go ahead and open it up for
Coach Morris just said here a few moments ago, he talked about specific guys on the defensive end, Ethan Wesloski, LaDainian Fields. Some of that experience you have on the back end is going to help you in shootouts. And if you can just be consistent defensively, I think you're going to surpass a lot of the expectations from some of the national experts.
Your thoughts of Coach Lutz so far, his first couple of years, hasn't made the NCAA tournament, reloaded this year. Your thoughts on basketball?
You've been open
I really like
about,
what they've been able to do in Portland. And I really like that they addressed a need immediately. One of the biggest needs was guys with toughness.
How much you talk to your team about
they're going to sell out to be the toughest guys on the floor. I think we had some offensive skill last season.
Was there some overcorrection there maybe from the year before?
There was, but some of it too is you're still trying to gain a foothold on your style, what you want to do, and who's available to be able to be successful at this level with that style.
So you can afford, right?
Yes, and so I think they've done a really good job in terms of getting if you want to call them dogs.
Yeah.
Guys, and cashing that in his situation, with getting the injunction, being able to play, I think that's the kind of guy that other guys can feed off of. And you get the right balance.
Willie, you had 3
some
games on
defensive
Fridays last
want
year.
to,
You got 2
and
this
then you
year
got some
with
length
the
of guys
conference
who can
opener
score, and you
against
got some
Texas
young
Tech.
talent that could be really exciting.
Do you get used
So
to
just kind of
those
your last
games
message for
that are
Oklahoma
not
State
on
fans,
Saturdays,
just the
or
whole
do you
climate,
just
what should they be the most
roll
excited
with it
about?
as the season goes
I
on?
think you're really going to
Well, I
like
think you just have to have a
quarterback
plan
Drew Estimate.
for either,
I think you're really going to like
playing
Caleb
with
Hawkins
one
at running
less
back.
day of
I think
preparation.
you're going to see
Luckily, it's not
just how
first,
improved the overall
second game.
talent is at
It would be a
receiver.
little bit unique.
And again,
but, you just gotta
defensively,
have a
if you
plan.
can hold it together defensively,
Preparing one
then it
less
could
day.
be a really fun season.
I've been doing
Thank you
this
very
long
much.
now.
Great honor.
Yeah.